For the next one, it asks us to solve the system by graphing. And when we do this, the first one's already set up really nicely for this. It's got a y-intercept of -6. And it's got a slope of -2, which means I could go up 2, back 1, up 2, back 1, or down 2, over 1. And I draw the best line that I can draw. The second equation is not quite in slope-intercept form, so it's not really set up for graphing, so I'm going to put it in slope-intercept form. I'm going to subtract the 2x from each side. So that's going to give me a 6y equals a -2x minus 16. And then I divide each side by a 6. So I find out that y equals, that's going to be a -1/3 x minus 16 over 6, which I'm going to write this as a mixed number because I have to graph this thing, which is a -2 2/3. And now when I graph this, a -2 2/3 is right around here. A slope of -1/3 means I would go up 1, back 3, which puts me right around here. And then I would do that again, up 1, back 3, puts me right around here. And now when I graph that, I do the best job that I can do. And I should be able to see now that they intersect at this point. This isn't a great example for solving by graphing. For this one, I probably would have used substitution to find out that this is for sure the exact answer, which is -2, -2, where they intersect. But that is my answer, x equals -2, y equals -2. So it's the answer, the ordered pair -2, -2. Okay? For these next two, it asked me to solve the system. For the first one, this is not set up real nicely for elimination, but it looks like it wouldn't be too bad by substitution. This y value is almost by itself, so I'm going to add the 3x to each side. So I'm using substitution this time, so I get y equals 3x plus 15. And now I'm going to use that in my first equation, the equation I haven't used yet. So I've got a -5y, but instead of y, I'm going to plug in the equation that I just came up with for y, the 3x plus 15, equals the -2x minus 23. And now I can solve this for x. I distribute the 5. That's going to give me a -15x minus 75 equals a -2x minus 23. And now I got to get the x's on the same side. I'm going to add the 2x to each side. That's going to give me a -13x minus 75 equals a -23. And now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 75 to each side. So when I do that, I get the -13x equals a 52. And now I just have to divide each side by the -13. And when I do that, I find out that x equals a -4. But I'm not quite done yet. I still have to find y. So I come back over to my original equation, the y equals 3 times x plus 15. And I plug that -4 in. That gives me a -12 plus 15, which is a +3. So my answer here is the ordered pair -4, 3. Okay, it gives me the x value and the y value. That was a bad place to write that because I crashed into my y value. Let me write it over here, -4, 3. Okay? For the next one, this one is kind of set up for elimination already. And if I look, the y values would be really easy to eliminate. I'm going to multiply the second equation by a -2. So what that does is it gives me a +10x minus 2y equals a -32. I'm going to rewrite the other equation that I have underneath it. And now since I have additive inverses in front of the y's, I can add these two equations together. So that's going to give me an 18x. The y values are going to go ahead and cancel out. This is going to give me a -54. Dropped my negative sign. And now I have to divide each side by the 18. And when I do that, I find out that x equals a -3. But I'm not finished yet. I have to plug that back in to find y. I'm just going to plug it into the second equation. So I'm going to have a negative 5 times a negative 3 plus y equals 16. Now I just solve for y. That's going to give me a 15 plus y equals 16. I subtract the 15 from each side. So I find out that y equals a positive 1. So it's the ordered pair negative 3, comma 1. And that's it. And number 15, we're going to set up the system equation. It says that Lisa spent $6.30. $6.30 on 3 rolls of streamers. And I don't know how much each roll of streamer costs, so I'm going to call it X. So 3 times X. And 12 balloons plus 12 balloons, which I also don't know the cost of, so I'm going to call it Y. The next classroom, she spent $11.10, and she bought 5 rolls of streamers, so 5X, plus an additional 36 balloons, which is 36Y. And so this is the system of equations I want to set up. Now I want to solve to find out how much each of these costs. It's set up nicely for elimination. I'm going to multiply this first equation by a negative 3 to eliminate the y's. When I do that, let's see, 3 times the 6.3 is going to give me an 18.9. Sorry, a negative 18.9. This is going to give me a negative 9x and then a negative 36y. Now I have additive inverses in front of the y's. I'm going to add these equations together. So this is going to give me a negative $7.80 or a negative 7.8. Over here, the 5x and the negative 9 is a negative 4x. The y's cancel each other out, so those are eliminated. And now I can finish solving for x. I divide each side by the negative 4, and I'm going to find out that x equals $1.95. So $1.95. That is for the rolls of streamers, but I need to find out how much the balloons cost. So I've got to plug this back in. I'm just going to plug it into the first equation. So I've got 3 times 1.95 plus 12y. And now I'm going to solve this. So I've got 630. The 1.95 times the 3 is 585. And now I have to subtract the 585 from each side. Which is going to give me, let's see, 6.3 minus the 5.85. It's going to give me 0.45 equals the 12y. And now I divide each side by the 12. So I find out that y equals, and this is going to be a little bit weird, it's going to be 0.0375. So it's a little more. It's between 3 and 4 cents per balloon, but that makes sense if you put it in the context of buying something in bulk. Really, that means that it's 15 cents for a pack of 4. And I did that with just some quick math in terms of if I multiply the 0.0375 times 4, it gets me to an even decimal amount in terms of money. But this gives me my x and my y, which is sufficient enough for this example. Okay? For the next one, we want to find the x and the y-intercept. Remember, to find the x-intercept, I just plug a 0 in for y, and I solve. So that's going to give me a 5x equals a negative 25. I divide each side by the 5. So I find out that x equals a negative 5. To find the that was the x-intercept. To find the y-intercept, I plug a 0 in for x. So that's going to give me a negative 10y equals a negative 25. I divide each side by the negative 10. So I find out that y equals, I can leave this as an improper fraction, which is going to be a 5/2, or you could write it as a decimal, the 2.5, or a mixed number, which is the 2.5. Okay, any one of those answers would be acceptable. But those are my x and y-intercept. X-intercept, plug a 0 in for y. Y-intercept, plug a 0 in for x.